Welcome back to the Bronx Journal. We welcome back our participants from this summer's annual Summer Gear Up program. One important feature in the Gear Up program consists of using new and advanced technology that helps better equip and acquaint students to be great journalists. Technology itself plays an important part in both the work field and in their personal lives. As they got the chance to see how technology is helpful, they also wanted to discuss how it became a way of life, and though it is very efficient, it can lead to many difficulties. Here at the program, you learn how to use different technology for good. But what are some of the positive ways you use it at home, in your friend's house, at school?
Well, I use technology to help me with my homework or to help me, to contact my friends like Facebook, and you can research papers and you can type essays, but not only that stuff, like for music, downloading music, watching videos, YouTube. And yeah, that's it.
What are some other positive ways that we use technology in today's modern society?
One other way we could use technology positively is, like Jasmine said, we could contact friends on Facebook to form study groups and help each other with schoolwork, and we could use Facebook to communicate and pretty much corroborate with each other to get our work done and to get as high a grade as possible.
Nicholas?
Technology is a good way today because basically what you're doing is you could use Facebook to get in touch with your family, your friends, and other people throughout the world, and telephones, which means you could call people from all over the country, all over the world, and video games. Like, if you don't have nothing to do on your spare time, you can use it to get your brain moving.
So how would you say technology has helped our levels of communication in today's society?
I would say that technology has definitely helped in connecting the world. We have the internet, which is almost like an international telephone system, and we can pretty much connect with anyone around the globe that's within seconds, and it's pretty it's definitely revolutionary, I would say. Anyway.
Well, we can understand how technology is good for us, but we also know that people do abuse how they use technology. What are some of those ways that you guys see it in school, in your friend's house, at home, or even you have used it or known someone to have used it?
Well, I think that part is like some friends, they've been inviting you, you don't even know them, and they've been talking stuff about you, and you have to meet them somewhere. So that's some negative things. So those people can be dangerous. You really have to know people before accepting them. So those kind of things are the bad thing.
There's also cyberbullying. You start problems over the internet, you talk, you video chat, and post negative pictures and videos of things that probably insult others. So
there's also a lot of young people that they don't know that everything that you put on the internet, it stays there. So they put a lot of personal things, and then later on when it comes back to bite them, like when they're going to apply to college or they're applying for a job, then they're affected by it.
Another negative aspect about Facebook is that like on the subtext and everything, it says what's on your mind, but I really don't like it because it updates like what you're doing every 5 minutes, and it's like, why would someone want to know what you're doing? That's private. That's all you. And I value my privacy really, and I just don't rather see myself doing that.
One negative thing I've seen is memory. I see that a lot of times that people ask for numbers and they just type it into their phone but don't take the time to actually memorize it. And once they lose their phone or their contact book or anything, they're done for. And it's sad that people now have millions of hundreds of numbers but then can't remember anything, not even being able to call their mother. So I think technology is affecting our memory because we are becoming lazy.
So how would you say that has anybody you known or even yourself, have you ever been affected by cyberbullying, or, like I said, anybody personally that you know?
Well, I have some friends in my school that were cyberbullied. Like, we have some pages on the internet that if you've done something private, it's put on the internet without the girls' permissions, and it's embarrassing because everyone has a Facebook, everyone can see, and you have no privacy. What you did behind closed doors or what you did shouldn't be on the internet. So that's cyberbullying.
My sister, personally, she was being cyberbullied at one point. And just to show you that you don't have privacy, as soon as it got to a boiling point where we have to settle it right away, we bring it to the police station and they opened up everything. And things that were there from like 2011, 2010, you could see it. Like from you first made your Facebook, it's just there in your face. Like things that you don't even want your parents to see.
Nicholas?
Basically, back in February of this year, I was being cyberbullied by one of my friends from school because he made nasty and disgusting comments on my photo that I took. So what I did, I removed him off my Facebook page, and that's how I avoid my cyberbullying situations.
Well, how would you go about handling a situation like that? Like in terms of Nicholas's case, how would you yourself, if you ever faced yourself being cyberbullied, what steps would you take to prevent it?
Personally, I had an altercation with a girl in school, and after it was handled in the dean's office and things like that, she like still wanted to go on Facebook and inbox me and I'm just like, okay, all this is unnecessary and things like that. And Facebook has this option where when you block somebody, they ask you why. And if it's because of cyberbullying, then you could press that option. If it's because you just don't want them there, then there's things like that too. And when there are issues when it comes to like cyberbullying, you can go to the deans in your school and tell them, listen, this incident is starting because she wants to talk smack on Facebook or whatever other social media website there is.
Some steps I would take if I was ever cyberbullied. If I was actually ever cyberbullied, probably I would like try to ignore the person or try to make like a barrier in which the person can never like try to get to me verbally, in case through text, and also able to speak to adults about the situation, being able to get their opinions and make them help you in that sort of way.
Okay.
If I was ever being cyberbullied, I would most likely go to my parents. Many students I've actually known, they don't talk to their parents first about how they're feeling and what they're going through. They usually keep it to themselves, and that actually hurts. So I believe by talking to your parents, they would actually help you feel better and know what to do and to being in that situation. So, yeah.
If I were ever cyberbullied, there's many ways that you can handle that. Like, I personally would just block them, and if it came to the point of harassment, I would probably just report it to the police, because they can handle that, best.
Okay. So with that being said, I understand that a lot of violence can come from technology and even the media. It's unfortunate that recently in Colorado there was a massacre because a guy thought he was the Joker, and many victims died and were injured. Do you have a level of concern for like violence in schools and your general area that you hang out in? Nicholas?
Basically, violence is a very big issue to me right now because teenagers like our age are getting killed in areas of the Bronx and Brooklyn and all over New York City because a kid from my school that I didn't know personally, he got shot in the head in Bushwick when it was like the last day of school. He went to a party with his friends, and then what happened was that 2 gunmen had stopped him and shot him in the head, and then about 2 weeks later on his birthday, which was Tuesday, July 10th, he died at the age of 15.
Wow. That's unfortunate.
Well, I think technology has really expanded violence because we can really contact each other faster. So say if I get into an argument with someone today, maybe an hour later, a friend can get in contact with the other person and they can call their friends and just it'll be a whole brawl. And that happens a lot with schools, and even if I'm just hanging around, it happens a lot, and that's how people get hurt and weapons get involved and people die.
As Ashley stated, that whatever goes on the internet stays on the internet. Many people choose to go on the internet and be influenced by what they're seeing. So for example, the massacre, he's following the Joker. He's following what he's seen on TV, what he's seen on the internet. It's not good, but there's no way that you can stop it. You just have to choose whether you want to be influenced by it or see and just leave it.
Well, technology has been changing a lot, and it's been affecting us. Like I said, every day our lives revolve around technology. It even affects the way we keep updated with news. How do you receive your news? Is it through the old-fashioned way, the newspaper, or do you actually use modern techniques for your news?
I actually get my news through the internet and everything. And at times, I don't really go on it that often, but when I do, I see some really shocking things and really unfortunate things happening. And it's just sad because it's that's a waste of life. And at times maybe it's not good to read the news because I know that my middle school teacher, he didn't read the news because he said he only needs the weather. And that's about it because he doesn't want to see death happening in the world. And it's well, he just doesn't.
Okay.
Well, I watch the news every morning, and I guess it's old-fashioned, but I watch it, and sometimes I read it. But if it's anything important or really major, you can always hear it from other people. So.
Okay, so going back to safety and how safety is affecting your everyday lives, do you guys feel that there's a problem with the obtaining weapons? Should he have been allowed to get these weapons so easily within a short period of time, or should that have raised a red flag somewhere? How does that concern you?
I think that there should be a little bit more of a restriction on how many weapons or how much ammunition or any kind of chemical substance that one could be able to buy in bulk, because I don't know if this is correct, but it said that he bought some of the weapons and obtained some chemicals a couple of days or weeks before he went to the theater to massacre the people. And I think that if the police had searched into it, they would have found a connection and they probably would have been able to stop it.
Okay.
I think they should reduce making a lot of weapons because as soon they say you can have a license or to own the gun, a lot of people they don't really need it, but they just wanna own gun to say self-defense, and they've been doing other stuff to other people and kill innocent young girls and girls in our age, which is now really good.
There's really no reason for why people should be able to buy automatic weapons. I mean, what else would you use an automatic weapon for except to kill someone? I mean, I would understand a hunting rifle or a handgun, but why would someone need automatic weapons? You know, it doesn't really make sense that these are actually sold. That's what I think anyway.
I feel like to a certain extent people should be able to, because not in every area in America, but in some places there are just people who need protection because they don't know what's gonna happen. They probably live in a bad neighborhood or something like that. So what the government needs to do, if they are gonna have licenses for things like that, really try to buckle down more on what you're telling the people when you give them the license to own that gun, and make sure that they're clear, they know this is what you have it for. You can't do this, you can't go here with it, you can't do that with it, because then even if you do have a license, you will go to jail.
So taking in this event, and it's devastating, news, do you guys honestly feel safe in your school or going home or on the way? Nicholas?
Basically, when I finish school in Brooklyn, basically, I try not to stay too late because when I stayed late 2 years ago in high school, I was robbed in Brooklyn, and then what had happened was that I went home and I told my mom exactly what had happened, and then the next day I came back to the school, I reported it to the deans, and the situation was taken care of. My money was replaced, and everything else was fine.
Okay.
In my school, we have metal detectors, so it isn't really a problem with the weapons. But before we had metal detectors, there was a lot of weapons that were getting into the school. A lot of people were getting hurt. And at this point, I feel more safe in my school, and I totally agree with having scanners. But the only issue is the cell phones. But I mean, I feel pretty safe.
I wouldn't say that I don't feel safe in my school completely, but I don't feel safe to the fullest. There's still times when there's fights and kids sneak knives and those things through the windows, and they make their friends come in and they meet them at the back door and they give them whatever they have to give them, and then they come in. The scanners don't really do whatever they want to do, well, to protect us, because my friends bring their phone in every day. If the metal detectors are there to stop you from bringing in your items, then you're bringing in your phone. So what's really the difference? I almost got stabbed once because someone brought their knife through the scanner, and the security guards were really paying attention, and there was nothing that I could do. If I had got stabbed, I wouldn't be sitting here. So metal detectors don't do whatever they're trying to say that they're supposed to be doing.
Okay. So in a case of an emergency, just like you said, they don't allow cell phones. Do you feel that they should allow cell phones in schools?
I feel like they don't need to, because for the simple fact that everybody's saying, oh, we need our cell phones because if there's an emergency, we need to call our parents. And the reality of the situation is, you're going to be in class, you're going to get bored, you're going to text whoever you want to text, play games, you're going to be on your apps on Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want to. There are phones in the building. You could go to the dean's office, you could go to a classroom and call whoever if it's that serious of an emergency. If it really is an emergency, a teacher will be there and they have your parents' number on file and they will call your parents.
Okay.
I think cell phones shouldn't be allowed in school, but during school time, because students get very distracted from using the cell phones during that class time. One suggestion could be to have a system where the school collects the students' cell phones, and at the end of the day, give them back, because there are several students who have situations where they won't be able to contact their parents if they live far away from home.
Okay.
I agree that cell phones should not be allowed in schools. However, I disagree with the system of paying to leave your cell phone outside for the cell phone trucks, and I feel like there should be like a better way to just leave your cell phone in school without having to pay, and being able to pick the cell phone up, right when you're about to leave, because that's kind of a bad way of doing things, I guess.
Nicholas?
Basically, I think cell phones should be allowed in school because where I go, basically, I have to contact my mom every morning when I get to school because she gets worried about me, and I have a 2-hour trip from my house where I live to Brooklyn. And there's some kids from my school that live in the Bronx as well, and Manhattan, so they should allow us to bring our cell phones in, because when we pay $1 at the store every day, it's just wasting time, and that's too much for us.
I kind of don't agree to bring your cell phones to school at all, because they have phone trucks near my school and everything, and there was this one incident where they tied up the girl and they stole all the Android, all the iPhones, all the expensive technological phones that there was. And as I was walking home from school and everything, I was wondering why the police are there. And I'm kind of glad that I don't bring my cell phone to school, because I don't want that happening to my phone.
I feel as though cell phones should be allowed in school, because if we think back to, let's say, the Virginia Tech situation, some guy came into a school and shot up school, when the classroom shot up everything. And he would not have been caught today if it wasn't for the students having their cell phones. So if somebody, God forbid, came into our schools with a gun and decides that, hey, I'm going to shoot up the whole place, you can't raise your hand and say, hey, can I go to the dean's office and report this? Because you're not supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, I feel like cell phones should be allowed. And maybe a system could be put in place where it wirelessly they restrict cell phones from like being able to go on the internet or something like that to keep students focused during school. But for safety reasons, I feel like as though they should be allowed.
Okay.
I agree with Nia. I do come home late from my after-school activities, and I don't want to walk home without knowing that I have that sort of security to call home if anyone's following me, if I need any type of help. So I do agree.
I actually believe that cell phones should be allowed in school, and I understand how they could be a distraction, but maybe a system that could be thought of is that if the student is caught playing with a cell phone and not doing what they're supposed to be doing, the teacher can take the cell phone and confiscate it in the classroom and will be given back to the student so that we can have our cell phones at all times and not be distracted on it. Because I go home and I sometimes do not have any way to contact my mother when I don't have my phone, and I have to find a payphone, and it's very difficult to find a working payphone. So I believe in having my cell phone.
Okay. With that said, we'll be right back with more of the Bronx Journal.